about. It's the bottom of the north and the top of the south. You dealing with some bosses, we ain't too fond of taking losses. You come around here, better be cautious. We coming with the forces of 500 horses, but we ain't under the hood. We come from the hood. Let's get one thing understood. We ain't no country bumpkins, so please don't make no assumptions. We ain't too city to get crunk and gritty. At first they ain't hit me, so I brought some friends with me. That's right. And everybody's repping the B-Dog. It's going down like fat kids on a seesaw. Next up,
I believe that's me.
Hey yo, Quan, can you hold me down?
Definitely. A lot of niggas been talking. Sooner or later, police gon' have to choke them. Bad news, we on that bullet shit often. Serving hard often. Pop shit and hop your in the crowd on bail. Fresh out of jail, VA screaming. Soon as I stepped on the scene, niggas got to flee. Cause not only do I rap and sing, I really clap that thing. And outside of Jesus, I'm born to be the king of kings. Keep my crown fitted, keep my throne straight. I want the whole world, my own state. Y'all just stepped on, I got that raw weight. My shit's all real, your shit's all fake. And I can tell it when I see these. They talk like me, but really wanna be me. Y'all ain't really trying to see me, niggas. I'm in the hood all day, I will heat y'all industry. I'm from the easy. Let 'em know what it is.
Now I'm so BA, so spot raid, so known for putting crap in they place. So born that, so I'm so around the way. So done for Quan, who is repping King's May. Welcome to the field where only the ill play. But this is not a drill, we live in this all day. And you can try to build or do it the hard way, but it's evident you still gon' do what this squad say. Mark my word, I'm taking everything I deserve. We can start with the crib, cars, cheddars, and furs. Right now I got the urge, or maybe it's the nerve. We the all-time greats in the making on the verse. So when it comes to the home, the goons get it on. But that's only when I'm threatened in regards to the throne. You was thinking deep cover, but now your cover's gone. Welcome to Virginia, go we get it on. Yeah.
Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. Damn, I love that track we were playing during the break, man. Who are these cats? Spot Raiders. That's the name of the group, Spot Raiders. Or maybe that's the name of the song. I'm unsure. Looks like this track was done in 2006, man. I think that's some Akisi homeboy. Shouts out to Spot Raiders. Yes, sir.
Hey, yo, Neil, let's get him again.
Kings Nation. Spot Raiders.
You know.
Yeah. Love that beat right there. Love that beat. Yes, sir. Hey, the number to the show is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. So I'm sure y'all have heard, man, this is kind of one of the talking points, probably because his daddy played in the NFL, and it was a damn good back, man. I feel like that Christian McCaffrey was a damn good back. And I'll get to that in a second. Let me kind of give you the backdrop of the story. But Christian McCaffrey says that he feels disrespected among the class of running backs. Like in the top of the show, I just read you the top 5 running backs and teams are looking forward to seeing the day run their 40s or whatever. But I didn't mention Christian McCaffrey. But he says he feels disrespected. Here's a quote from Christian McCaffrey, former running back for the Stanford Cardinal. He says, "I feel like a lot of people don't give me credit for my skills and talents," McCaffrey said Thursday. "That's just the way it is. I don't think that there's anyone else that can do all the things I can as far as running between the tackles, stop right there. I don't think Christian McCaffrey is going to be able to run between the tackles in the NFL. I think that's one of the problems. I think that when you watch his game, you think that he's going to have issues running between the tackles in the NFL, which basically separates an every down back and a third down back. That's it. He says that he can outside pass protect. He can play X or Z slot positions, wide receivers positions. And he can do a lot of things in the return game as well, which are all good things. I think that's what sets me apart. Here's the thing about that, though, man, is you can do all of those things, but we've seen a lot of players that can do all of those things coming out of college. It's kind of like the high end for Christian McCaffrey and the way that he runs the football, the size of his body, the things that he does, and if you're talking about comparison and who he kind of reminds you of in the past, I mean, there's several players. There's several players that he kind of reminds me of. Like, off the top of my mind, he reminds me a little bit of Reggie Bush. He reminds me a little bit of Reggie Bush. But here's the thing about it. When Reggie Bush was coming out of college, if you remember, if you're old school Stu listener, if you're old school Two Live Stews listener, you remember this. We had a big thing going back and forth between me and my brother about how good Reggie Bush would be in the NFL. Like, my brother thought that he was going to set the world on fire there, that he was about to be the next Reggie or the next Barry Sanders. Right. He thought that Reggie Bush was going to be the next Barry Sanders. I never one time thought that Reggie Bush was going to be a great back in the NFL. I thought he would be a solid back in the NFL, but I never bought into Reggie Bush being Reggie Bush that he was in college in the NFL. And at the end of the day, I think that I was right. Right. I think that I was right, and I'm sure a lot of y'all will remember this, man. I just always thought Reggie Bush was going to be, at best, like a third down back in the NFL, change of pace running back. He was going to be a guy that would be on special teams, returning kicks, returning punts, but I never thought that he would be a workhorse-type back that they'd feed the ball to 25 times. This is back, when Reggie Bush came into the league, they were still, kind of, giving the running back a lot of carries, more so carries today than they do today. But I never thought that Reggie Bush was going to get 25, 30 carries and be a workhorse-type back, every down type back. I just thought that he would be a utility back. He would be one of those backs that came in to catch the ball out of the backfield, in the flats, return punts, return kicks, and all like that. So I guess on the top end, if you look at this player, you follow football, off the top of my head, the top end, the best that I think that Christian McCaffrey, you can look for out of Christian McCaffrey, the best at the top end, the very top end, is Barry Sanders. Christian McCaffrey ain't no Barry Sanders. I'm sorry. Christian McCaffrey ain't no Barry Sanders. Now, is it possible he could turn out to be Barry Sanders? Maybe, but I doubt it. And nobody that I've heard, nothing that I've read, is making the comparison of Christian McCaffrey to Barry Sanders. So that's just ridiculous, okay? So I guess what you could be and what you could hope for is Reggie Bush, is Darren Sproles, type player, maybe something like that, which are very good players. If you're hoping for him to be Barry Sanders, you're wrong. Like, the closest thing that he'll probably be close to is probably Darren Sproles, or how about this? And this is the reason why I don't think he'll be taken before all of these other guys. Like, how much better production do you think you're going to get out of Christian McCaffrey in the NFL than you did out of Danny Whitehead? Huh? You see what I'm saying? Same type of player. Now, listen, I'm not like a lot of y'all thinking that Christian McCaffrey gets, got more love over the last couple of years just because he's a white running back. Now, he has made some comments, these comments saying that he feels like he's disrespected, and it kind of feels like that he wants to say, because he's a white running back, and this is just the way I'm looking at it, and I'm kind of reading it, and him saying that he's getting disrespected, he's kind of saying that it's because of the stereotype that he's a white running back that he's not good or he's not as good as these other guys. No, I don't think that. I mean, in no facet of life, and I've said this before, in no facet of life, at least in America, has being white ever hurt a person. Right. So, I mean, cancel that. Like, and he hasn't come out and said that. But the fact that he's saying he's being disrespected and kind of leaving it out there, for interpretation, it kind of feels like he wants to say, well, because I'm a white guy and I put up all these numbers, if anybody else would have put up these numbers, they would get more love. It's what he's kind of trying to say. And maybe subconsciously, and maybe to a degree, he's right. But to think that the reason why he doesn't get the love that someone else would have gotten in his same position because he's white is ridiculous. Being white never hurt nobody in America. Period. Period. Never, ever has being a white man in America hurt somebody. Period. So I don't want to hear that. Yeah, maybe there's something in the back of your mind about being, a stereotype or whatever that some people subconsciously may be following, but that ain't hurting. If anything, him being the dynamic running back that he's been in college and breaking Barry Sanders' all-purpose record in college football would help you. It would highlight him, And maybe that's what's getting right now. The reason why he's getting so much conversation right now is maybe because he's a white running back. Maybe, I don't know. Okay? Because there's been a lot of running backs, a lot of great dual-threat quarterbacks or running backs in college football. When I say dual-threat and talking about running backs, I'm talking about guys that can run and catch the ball out of the backfield. There's been a lot of them. Maybe nobody that's broken Barry Sanders' records for all-purpose yardage, but there's been a lot of guys that can do that type of thing. Darren Sproles, when he was at Kansas State, I don't remember Darren Sproles getting as much conversation as Christian McCaffrey. And once again, maybe his numbers don't stack up to Christian McCaffrey's, slightly. But I'm sure that he did a lot of the same things and put up a lot of big numbers in college football. I mentioned Danny Whitehead. Like Danny Whitehead, he had some crazy stat, even though he played like at a smaller level school. Danny Whitehead, I think, got like 2,000 yards 2 or 3 years in a row. Something crazy like that, okay? And you didn't really even hear about Danny Whitehead until he got in the NFL. Very good, solid NFL player, but that's not the case. Bottom line, I think, is that people that watch football and know football, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, just look at Christian McCaffrey and see, scat back. They see scat back. They don't see every down Leonard Fournette, Bo Jackson, Ezekiel Elliott. They don't see that type of running back in this guy at the next level. He may prove us all wrong, but that's what it is. It's definitely not because he's a white running back. Trust me on that. Yeah, we'll see. Time will tell. A lot of people, Reggie Bush, I think he went second in the draft that year. He came out the same year that Mario Williams came out. You remember that whole controversy? So Mario Williams went number 1 to the Houston Texans, and then Reggie Bush went number 2 to the Saints. And Reggie Bush, solid career, but you can't tell me Christian McCaffrey was better than. You may be able to make the argument that they, had pretty much the same accomplishments in college. Reggie Bush, obviously, at USC and Christian McCaffrey at Stanford, very comparable. But in relative terms to where Reggie Bush got drafted at, based on his production that he had in the NFL, till this point in his career, going number 2, Reggie Bush has not lived up to being picked at number 2. He's a very good player. But if you had to go back, ESPN does this thing where they go back and they look at a player where they were drafted at, and then they'll look at it and say a year after the fact, after you've seen them in the NFL after a year, they'll go back and say, we're going to redraft the first round. And if you redraft the first round, where would Reggie Bush have come out knowing what we know about him after his first year in New Orleans and even subsequently, like maybe his first 4 or 5 years? You say Reggie Bush, man, for him being a guy that returned punts, he did that early in his career, and he was a guy that came in and caught passes out of the backfield. Like Reggie